What's up, guys? Dimebot here, and this is a Fragmental. This is a little game from Ruffian Games. They're a British studio. This is, I believe, their only independent game, although they did actually work on the Master Chief Collection, which is kind of interesting. So we're going to jump into this, but first, guys, if you like the video or find it interesting, as always, please like or subscribe. It really helps the channel out. So let's take a look at the options. It's going to be pretty simple. Graphics quality is high or low. You have full screen, windowed, full screen, or windowed. You have force feedback. You have volume sliders. You have controls. Actually, this menu is a little confusing. Like, it's hard to see where the triggers are, but you get the gist. Now, you'll notice the very stylized background here. So what exactly is Fragmental? Fragmental is a couch co-op, top-down, fighter, shooter, thingamabobber. So let's go ahead and jump into Team Deathmatch, and I'm going to add some bots here. This is meant to be a local co-op game, and we'll actually get to it in a minute. That's actually one of my biggest gripes with the game. There we go. Bots are kind of generic looking, but you won't really see them that much, like, up close. So we're going to go with lethal here. These modifiers are rather interesting. Safe is the safest subset of weapons and modifiers and arenas to get you kind of into the game. Dangerous is more stuff. Lethal is literally everything. With death walls, yes, death walls. You have the score limit you can change to 5, 10, 15, or 20. And leave it on 10. Survival rounds, which we'll get to. There's a decent amount of options here. Now, this menu is mouse driven or controller driven, so you'll see me using both. And
prepare attack.
Here we are, and I am dead because of that rolling death ball thing.
Complete.
Rounds are pretty darn quick, as you can see.
Prepare, engage.
Where am I? Oh, there. Ah!
Round.
That just highlights actually one problem I have with the game. Sometimes it's hard to pick out where you are.
Prepare.
It's a problem that I have, maybe not a problem that you'll have, but sometimes it can be just a little hard to see where you are on the bigger maps. Now, they can, the computer can rotate them, or the power-ups in the map can, on the field, can rotate the map. My controller's come unplugged. This is just going to shit rapidly, isn't it? There we go. So you've basically got rockets, explosives, fire, all manner of weapons, and the idea, as you can obviously see, is to take down enemy, and the computer's kind of brutal. So let's jump into a 1v1 so I can kind of show you guys a little bit more. Although this is a neat level because we've actually got teleporters, so we'll... Oh, that didn't work like I wanted to. You can actually punch people. So you've got the teleporters. If you're getting a very duck game kind of vibe or other similar games off of this, I wouldn't really blame you. It's very fast-paced. It's got a really unique art style, which I actually happen to enjoy. Hey, we're back on this level again.
Complete.
1.8 seconds. Alright. And the game is absolutely a blast. It's got some very interesting weapons, like that crossbeam right there. It has some very interesting level concepts and
prepare, engage.
Some interesting power-ups, such as that death from above. So they've managed to add enough items and enough complexity to keep every level and every area interesting. Like with that disc gun right there, which reminds me very much of Unreal Tournament, and I love that. I've also managed to slow the level down. So this is a really well-controlling game. It's a really visually distinct game. The levels, except for a couple of exceptions, make it fairly easy to distinguish a character from the background. Not always your character, unfortunately, because in multiplayer there's almost no variation between the character models, so it's all the same color. But overall, I think they've done an okay job with that.
Go.
Now, I mentioned that I did have a few
Rotate.
problems
And
with the game, and
round.
we'll talk about them.
Prepare. Fight.
It's certainly not lack of variety. There is a survival mode, there's deathmatch, team deathmatch,
Complete.
there's a wave-based mode. The problem is that this game really...
Ready.
Oh boy.
Engage.
Ow.
Over.
That was a survival round. Is that this game really suffers from being couch co-op only. It is up to 4 players, but this game needs online multiplayer badly. You know, it's
Ready.
relatively hard generally to get 4 people
Round.
around a
Complete.
computer, especially with enough controllers to make it playable.
Prepare. Engage.
And this is not a game
Aim.
I would want to try to play on a mouse and keyboard.
Player 1 wins.
Actually, I didn't want to restart that. Even 2 people is a lot of fun, but, you know, games like this really tend to excel when there are the maximum amount of people. Yes, the Redeemer is obviously not to Unreal Tournament. You can actually steer the bloody thing. So here is your horde-based mode. You have your survival mode. Let's make this all bots and jump in. So yeah, I think that the lack of online is a major negative factor for this game. But other than that, especially when you get into stuff like this, where you have to navigate really narrow platforms,
Over.
it's actually very enjoyable, very fast-paced, very frenetic.
Prepare. Engage.
Come on. Oh,
Round.
that's some really cool concepts. This is survival is a lot of fun.
Ready. Go.
Yeah, I definitely would recommend checking this one out, guys, if you've got the friends to play it with. That would be my one caveat.
Complete.
It runs fine. It's obviously not very taxing on a CPU or a GPU. The music is, you know, going to be take it or leave it. I like it. It's appropriately hype, but it's not anything that I'm going to be humming in the shower or anything. So, you know, take that as you will. But yeah, that's been a look at Fragmental.
Ready. Engage.
Appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you next time.